The idyllic peace of Pahalgam, a picturesque town nestled in the Himalayas, was shattered on April 24, 2025. A group of heavily armed militants stormed a popular tourist spot, unleashing a barrage of gunfire and grenades upon unsuspecting civilians. The serene landscape, known for its lush meadows and snow-capped peaks, was instantly transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror. As the dust settled, the true extent of the carnage became horrifyingly clear. The attack claimed the lives of 26 innocent people, their bodies strewn across the once tranquil valley. Most of the victims were Hindu pilgrims on their way to the Amarnath cave, a revered shrine high in the mountains. Tourists, both domestic and foreign, were also caught in the crossfire, their dreams of experiencing the beauty of Kashmir extinguished in an instant. The attack sent shockwaves throughout India and across the globe. Images of the massacre, broadcast on news channels worldwide, served as a stark reminder of the volatile situation in the region. The idyllic image of paradise on earth, as Kashmir is often called, was tarnished by the blood of innocents. This act of terror was not merely a tragedy for those directly affected. It marked a dangerous escalation in the already fraught relationship between India and Pakistan, reigniting old tensions and pushing the two nuclear-armed neighbors to the brink of war. To understand the significance of the Pahalgam attack, one must delve into the complex history of the Kashmir conflict. This dispute, a festering wound on the Indian subcontinent, dates back to the tumultuous partition of British India in 1947. When the British Raj drew to a close, they left behind a land divided along religious lines, with India designated as a secular state and Pakistan as a homeland for Muslims. Kashmir, however, presented a unique dilemma. With a Muslim-majority population but ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, the region became a point of contention between the newly formed nations. The Maharaja's initial indecision on whether to join India or Pakistan ignited a conflict that has simmered for decades. The first of three major wars between India and Pakistan erupted in 1947, followed by conflicts in 1965 and 1999. These wars, along with countless skirmishes along the line of control that divides the region, have resulted in the loss of countless lives and displaced millions of people. The picturesque valleys and mountains of Kashmir have become synonymous with military checkpoints, barbed wire fences, and the ever-present threat of violence. The dispute has not only strained relations between India and Pakistan, but also posed a constant threat to regional and global security. In the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack, the initial reactions from India and Pakistan followed a tragically predictable script. India, seething from the loss of innocent lives, wasted no time in pointing the finger of blame at Pakistan. The Indian government accused Islamabad of harboring and supporting terrorist groups operating within its borders, alleging that the Pahalgam attack was planned and executed with the support of Pakistani intelligence agencies. Pakistan, as is customary, vehemently denied any involvement in the attack. The Pakistani government condemned the violence and offered condolences to the families of the victims. However, they maintained that the attack was a false flag operation orchestrated by India to deflect attention from its alleged human rights abuses in Kashmir. The war of words quickly escalated into concrete actions. India, determined to send a strong message, closed its borders with Pakistan, suspended trade relations, and expelled Pakistani diplomats from the country. The Indian military was placed on high alert, with troops deployed along the line of control in anticipation of a potential Pakistani retaliation. Pakistan, for its part, responded in kind. They mirrored India's actions by closing their side of the border, severing diplomatic ties, and bolstering their military presence along the line of control. The drums of war beat louder with each passing day, raising fears of a full-blown conflict between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. As tensions between India and Pakistan reached fever pitch, the international community watched with growing alarm. World leaders urged both sides to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. The United States took a leading role in trying to de-escalate the crisis. President Trump urged both India and Pakistan to work out their differences peacefully. His administration dispatched envoys to New Delhi and Islamabad. China, Pakistan's ally, also played a crucial role in diffusing tensions. Beijing exerted its influence on Pakistan to exercise restraint. China's Foreign Minister, Wang Yi, held talks with leaders in both countries. The international community's efforts were not limited to diplomatic overtures. The United Nations Security Council passed a resolution condemning the Pahalgam attack. Section 5. The Winds of Change. A ceasefire emerges. Despite the initial posturing and brinkmanship, a glimmer of hope emerged from the most unexpected of quarters. In a surprising turn of events, both India and Pakistan, under intense pressure from the international community, agreed to a ceasefire along the line of control. This unexpected development, brokered by the United States and China, marked a significant turning point in the crisis. The ceasefire, though fragile, provided a much-needed respite from the escalating tensions. It allowed both sides to step back from the brink and created a conducive environment for dialogue. The guns fell silent along the LOC, and the threat of an imminent war began to recede. The international community hailed the ceasefire as a crucial first step towards a lasting peace in the region. The United States and China, having played a pivotal role in bringing about the truce, pledged their continued support for the peace process. They recognized that the ceasefire was just the beginning of a long and arduous journey towards reconciliation. Section 6. Towards a lasting peace. The Geneva Agreement. With the ceasefire holding, albeit tenuously, the focus shifted to finding a permanent solution to the long-standing Kashmir issue. Under the auspices of the United Nations, and with the active involvement of the United States and China, representatives from India and Pakistan began a series of closed-door negotiations in Geneva. These talks, shrouded in secrecy, were aimed at addressing the root causes of the conflict and finding common ground for a lasting peace. Both sides, weary from decades of conflict and cognizant of the potentially catastrophic consequences of another war, exhibited an unprecedented level of flexibility and willingness to compromise. After months of intense negotiations, a historic breakthrough was achieved. In October 2024, India and Pakistan signed a landmark peace accord known as the Geneva Agreement. This agreement, hailed as a diplomatic triumph, laid out a comprehensive roadmap for a peaceful and prosperous future for the region. The Geneva Agreement, among other things, called for the demilitarization of the line of control, the gradual withdrawal of troops from both sides of the border, and the establishment of a joint commission to oversee the implementation of the agreement. It also included provisions for economic cooperation, cultural exchanges, and people-to-people contact between the two countries. Section 7. The Long Road Ahead, Rebuilding Kashmir. The signing of the Geneva Agreement was met with jubilation and cautious optimism in Kashmir, a region ravaged by decades of conflict. The agreement, seen as a beacon of hope for a brighter future, ushered in a new era of peace and reconciliation. However, the road to recovery promised to be long and arduous. The immediate priority was to heal the wounds of the past and rebuild the shattered lives of the Kashmiri people. The agreement allocated substantial funds for the reconstruction of infrastructure, the rehabilitation of displaced persons, and the creation of employment opportunities. International aid agencies and NGOs poured into the region, providing humanitarian assistance and supporting development projects. The focus shifted to reviving Kashmir's economy, which had been severely impacted by the conflict. The tourism industry, once the backbone of the region's economy, was in shambles. The government launched a massive campaign to promote tourism, showcasing the region's natural beauty and rich cultural heritage. Section 8. Bridging the Divide, Trade and Economic Cooperation. The Geneva Agreement recognized that economic cooperation was crucial for fostering lasting peace between India and Pakistan. The agreement included provisions for the resumption of trade relations, which had been suspended for years due to the conflict. The resumption of trade was seen as a win-win situation for both countries. For India, it opened up a vast new market for its goods and services. For Pakistan, it provided access to cheaper raw materials and essential commodities. The agreement also paved the way for joint ventures and investments in various sectors, including infrastructure, energy, and agriculture. The two countries agreed to work together to develop regional connectivity projects, such as highways, railways, and pipelines, to facilitate trade and economic integration. The benefits of economic cooperation were not limited to India and Pakistan. The entire region stood to gain from increased trade and investment. The peace dividend promised to uplift millions from poverty and usher in an era of shared prosperity. Section 9. A Fragile Hope, Challenges and Prospects for the Future. The Geneva Agreement marked a new chapter in India-Pakistan relations. The road ahead was fraught with challenges and past mistrust. Hardliners remained skeptical and the threat of spoilers loomed. Success hinged on political will and commitment. The task was to build a future based on mutual respect and cooperation. Despite challenges, there were reasons for cautious optimism. The younger generation yearned for a different future. They understood progress lay in cooperation, not confrontation. The people of India and Pakistan yearned for peace. Leaders must ensure this hope for peace endures.